Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Goodbye to All That by Joan Didion. Now, before I go into the summary and analysis of this work, please remember to give a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. All right, so within this work, we have the narrator going into New York, experiencing life in New York, and pretty much what the narrator or what the writer finds out here is that New York it has a lot of promises, especially if you don't live in New York, you're not a native New Yorker. Um, New York is just the place to be. You know, the parties, the life, the fast pace. If you go sightseeing, all the landmarks, the fashion, the music. I mean, New York is it's the place. It's known all around the world. It's the place to be. New York is filled with all types of people from every continent, from every island, from every country. You can find anybody in New York, any race, anybody, all types of mixed people, all types of, people that have multiple backgrounds. It's just a fascinating place. I even believe that, you know, in the state of New York or just New York City in general, everybody there, because there's so many immigrants, two three languages is common for a New Yorker to speak because it's just so packed with so many cultures and so many people and so many individuals. It's just the place. And Joan Didion is saying here that you go to New York and there's this party life, especially during the time when this work was being written. It was cheap, the apartments were cheap, there were jobs. If you were young, you felt like anything was possible. You can make it big at any time, especially like in the early days. I mean, New York was the place to be at. Even if you think about like maybe 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. There's just so many opportunities to go to New York, make lots of money, live a life. Especially if you're in your 20s, man, it was just so many opportunities. But the thing is, like New York it's hustle bustle. It's you gotta work hard, you gotta keep moving, you gotta make money, you gotta pay bills, you gotta. I mean, New Yorkers are intense. They're intense because that's what life in New York is like. You gotta be fast moving, quick paced, all about your business. It's that type of city. It's that type of state. And our narrator here, a writer here, it comes to the point where it's like there's this repetitiveness. There's this non-stop nature of New York that gets mundane. And if you live in it long enough, and if you spend your 20s there, and let's say you're not successful and you're not making the money that you want to make, it just becomes a repetitive nature. The parties become mundane. Because again, I mean, you can start going out to parties in your late teens and your early 20s and your mid 20s, but by the time you hit your late 20s, going to the parties and the clubs and the festivals, they get mundane, they get boring because it's the same thing over again. I mean, it's drinking, dancing, lust, sex. It's if you're gonna do that for 50 years, at some point that repetitive nature of it all just becomes meaningless. And that's the thing that a lot of humans, after a while, they start to understand. You can, in your early 20s, going out for the first time and enjoying these things for the first time, it's fun. But when you start to get in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, it just gets sad. I mean, if you see a 60-year-old in the club, that's not having fun. That's just sad. I mean, you should be home with your grandkids. It's the same thing. I mean, people in their late 30s, 40s, if you're still out there partying like you're 20, it just doesn't look right. You should be at home with your family or your grandkids because, again, it's just that party life is for young 20-year-olds, and after a while, you should get bored or mundane, or it just wears off. And that's what's happening within this work. It's that this illusion of New York being this party life, this instant opportunity, this thing that never ends, the city that never sleeps. New York doesn't never sleep, but humans do. Humans sleep. The city never sleeps. The city that never sleeps, but humans sleep, and we need to move on. New York has been partying forever. But humans, we get tired, we get bored. It's just the illusion wears off, and that's what happens within the work. Our narrator here, our writer here, gets bored, and it's like, this is enough. I'm not having fun anymore, and what I thought it was going to be is not what it is, because it just gets mundane, it gets boring, it gets repetitive, and the dreams that you thought that you're gonna have, you don't have them, and you lose yourself, you lose your identity, you lose yourself in all of that. In New York, there's a lot of people in New York, but also it's extremely lonely because everybody's about their business, everybody's trying to do their own thing, and people don't got time for people. Although it's filled and packed with people, everybody puts on these masks and these placid faces to get through the day, and you're not worried about people. You give everybody that cold shoulder, and you put on that hat on your head, and you just move about your business. So because of that tough nature of New York, where the toughest survive, it's the most loneliest place on earth, I would imagine, because it's just everybody got to be 10 toes down on their business, and because of that, it's cold. It's very cold. I mean, New York, especially in 2025 today, New Yorkers don't have time. I mean, they're not going to stop on the street to help out everybody, because now on the street you have the homeless, you have the rich, you have middle class, you have the poor. Everybody's mingling and mixing, and everybody's about their business, and people are not going to take special time to help you out, because first of all, everybody's skeptical of everybody. Everybody has their head on a swivel, making sure that they don't get robbed, that they don't get scammed, that they don't get taken advantage of. I'm not saying that everybody in New York is cold or ruthless, but the city kind of begs for you to be just about your business, and be skeptical, and do what you need to do. So it's not a state or a city of rainbows and butterflies. It's, everybody, you got to be on your P's and Q's to survive in New York. In terms of deeper meaning analysis, I mean, the disillusionment, it's all about growing up here. I think when you're a teenager, when you're in your early 20s, you think everything is possible. You can be rich, you can create your business, you can do all that, and achieve your dreams. But then when you start to get into your late 20s, your 30s, and your 40s, and life is starting to go by, and you're getting older and you're getting gray, you're like, oh, the disillusionment really hits you hard, because it's like, man, I can't really achieve what I'm trying to achieve, and these dreams aren't coming true. And you get faced with the reality that this is life. This is why some people never, get to where they want to be in life, because life hits you hard, and all these wonderful dreams that you think you're going to achieve, sometimes reality says no, because it all piles up on you. And the innocence and naivete of being young, it starts to wear off. It starts to wear off after a while in your late 20s and your early 30s. If things aren't going your way, if you're not achieving the things that you wanted to achieve, um, that innocence, that naivete, that all that, it goes away, and you have to face reality. And that's what our writer here, our narrator, finds at the end of this work, is that you got to leave New York, and that's what happens to our writer, our narrator. Leaves New York, and um, goes to find something else, another identity, another a meaning to life, because reality hits hard in New York. That's all I have to say about this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Device locked.